Speech. We got one, two, three, four, five, six. Myself makes seven. And there's our speaker. We got number eight over here. Let me get in position. And you're good to go.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Lane, and you all do know me. I hope you will listen today with an open mind with what I have to say. And to, to open this with, I'd like to say, or ask you rather, have any of you ever had any contact, seen any UFOs during your lifetime? Uh, I just want you to think about it for now, and then after I finish, we'll talk about it if you'd like. The first thing that I would like to bring up is the different levels of contact with UFOs that are the listed as the official levels. And the first one is close encounters of the first kind is where you see a UFO, but it's 400 or 500 feet away. Close encounters of the second kind uh, is where you see a UFO and it leaves some kind of trace evidence behind it when it leaves. Close encounters of the third kind is where you see occupants in a UFO. Close encounters of the fourth kind is where the individual is actually abducted. Close encounters of the fifth kind is where an individual actually communicates with an alien or occupant of a UFO. With all that being said, what I'd like to do is share with you the number of experiences with UFOs that I've had during my lifetime. The first one was in 1954 in Evansville, Indiana, when I was 7 years old. I was outside Saturday afternoon. I was playing with some little army figurines, and I heard a loud humming sound. It was loud enough that it caused me to look up, and when I did, there was a large silver globe up over the top of a small tree just a few feet away. Uh, Around the bottom of this globe were a number of windows that I could see human like figures moving around, and I got the impression that they were all staring at me as I was playing. I hollered, and my mom, just right across the alleyway, screamed at my dad after she looked out, saw me and the UFO to get outside and get me, which he did. He picked me up and ran back inside. As he was doing that, my mom called the Evansville City Police, who were there in just 2 or 3 minutes. Upon arriving, they began firing their pistols and rifles at this silver globe, and that went on for a few minutes. And then, apparently, with no damage done to it, it just shot straight up into the air and disappeared. Now, that's a pretty strange event. However, it has been and was documented by the international agency MUFON, uh, which they fully investigated, and it is a report with their organization. The next incident that occurred to myself, which also involved Anita, was in 1975. There were two events that happened then, and both of them occurred after we had left Santa Claus, Indiana. Both of those times we were visiting friends, Gary and Linda, which you may know or may not know. And we had to travel through Lincoln State Park in order to get home. And that the road down through Lincoln was like 10, 12 miles long. The On that particular morning, at like 3 a.m., we got on that Lincoln Park road, and a UFO appeared over the top of us and followed us all the way down that winding road for 12 miles. Now, when we turned off of that road and onto a regular state road, it just disappeared and we never saw it. About 2 weeks later, again coming home from Santa Claus, we were traveling the toll road between Owensboro, Kentucky, and Henderson, Kentucky, which is where we lived at that time. The We saw a triangular-shaped UFO moving slowly across a plowed cornfield in our general direction. And to better see it, I had pulled off the side of the road, and Anita and I got out. And when we did that, it changed its course and angled right for us. A bright spotlight uh, shot down, and it must have made a spot 50 feet in diameter on that ground. However, Anita brought to my attention rather quickly that there was nobody else around. There were no other cars going east or west on that highway. We were the only ones there. So we got spooked, jumped in the car,
Cool.
and sped off down the road. And we never saw that craft again either. Then in 1978, we had two more incidences involving Anita and I both. One of those was after we had bought our house in Blairsville, Indiana. Late one winter night, we were on the sun deck with a telescope that we had acquired, looking at the stars, and we saw a fast-moving object travel from the western horizon all the way to the eastern horizon, turn around, come back, circle around twice, and then it just disappeared. We had tried to view that on our telescope, however, but it looked the very same thing, just like it. When you looked through the telescope, it was a silver globe, and when you looked at it by just your eyesight, it was a silver globe. So whatever it was pretty far out.
1 minute.
Anyway, I called Anderson Air Force Base and reported that, and they do have it officially listed as a UFO incident. The other incident involved a UFO late one night that shot a beam of light down that we saw from our kitchen window while we were doing dishes, and it blew up the grid station at the bottom of our road, and we were without power for 7 days after that incident. Then in 2005, we had invited our Erica, Dwayne, and their son Dylan to our house for Easter dinner in Hudson, Florida. And we also invited Janet and Bob. That would have been Anita's mom and stepdad. We actually went to Leesburg, picked them up, brought them down, and we all had dinner. At about 4 p.m., they asked us to take them home, and Dylan wanted to ride with us. And his mom and dad agreed, just with the notion that we had to be back quickly so that they could go to the grandmother's house yet that evening for dinner. So we got them up to their home at 5:15. We left, and I remember making that trip all the way to County Road 48 in front of the correctional facility up there, and then nothing else until we were on County Road 50, doing about 60 miles an hour. The windows were all frosted over, and it was hot outside. Dylan was standing up between our two seats, which I never would have allowed, saying, "Grandpa, you've got to quit talking about the mothership because you're scaring me." When he did sit down and put his seatbelt on, I looked back to check, and I saw a red pulsing light out the side window that was frosted over also. It took us another 30 minutes to get home, and Erica and Dwayne were very upset with us because it was 5 hours later. That trip only takes 2 hours. The kind of lost here for a second. They had made numerous phone calls to us, but we had no knowledge of any cell phone call coming in, nor had we attempted to call them. So I don't know what happened, but something did. And then in 2013, at our home on Pensy Drive in Port Richey, here in Florida, it was about 11 p.m. at night. I was in bed. Anita was on the computer in our Florida room, which I could see from the open bedroom door, and she had on headphones. A three-fingered hand reached around the corner of the house, slid across the window pane in front of her, and then a large gray bulbous head attached to a thin neck, and it was just bouncing and jumping around, moved into the view of the window, and which was a pretty scary incident, but it disappeared, and that was the end of it. In closing, I would simply like to say that what I have told you is true. And I hope you've had an open mind about it. And if any of you had any incidences, I would like for you to share them with us. Does anyone have any? Have they ever seen UFOs? Have you ever interacted with one? Has
It wasn't
anything?
flying.
No, but I believe in it.
Unidentified.
Object, but it wasn't a flying object. It wasn't a UFO.
What was it?
Married one. Just a light in the woods.
Oh.
Eric,
You take over filming.
if no one has any questions, I'd like for you to come up and critique me through the
So
audience.
basically, all we need to know is, does anyone in the audience have any critiques on anything that the speaker John could have done better to improve the speech, or do you have anything that you think he did exceptionally well?
I thought it went very smooth.
Else?
Better than the first speech.
Yes,
Thank you.
Encore! Encore!
definitely.
There should be an edit.